Welcome back, folks and friends. Connecting Dots here. Today's date is January 24th, 2015. So if you've been following me along here, roughly, on January 15, 2015, I said, watch out, folks, the gloves are off. And if you haven't seen that video, go watch it. It's in my uploads here. You'll have to go sideways. I said, watch out, the gloves are off. I'm coming after the line scammers on YouTube. And no, it's not just those associated with Fukushima, but yes, I'm going to get back into Fukushima for a second because, like many of you, I have a YouTube channel. In fact, I have, like I mentioned, I got 3 of them now. After my first one got terminated by YouTube in 2012, Connecting Dots 1. Lucky for me, I had a secondary one called Connecting Dots 2, which had about 800 subscribers, and I've continued on since then, and I opened up a following backup channel, Connecting Dots 3. So when I log in, like many of you, to my YouTube channels, and today it was Connecting Dots 3, that's how I came across this information I'm about to share with you. Like many of you, YouTube tells me, or I shouldn't say tells me, but recommends to me what I should watch. Now, the odd thing is, if you've been following me for a while here, I've actually been talking about some of these people here, how they're all part of the corruption club. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, as I said before, you'll have to come directly to my YouTube channel and click on See All. That's the only way you're going to get the full picture of what's going on, okay? And as I mentioned before, don't just watch a couple of my videos and get all pissed off because I haven't proven my fact that these people are all corrupt and here for disinformation or, as I said before, fraud. Okay, it's coming. This is going to be an ongoing series here at my YouTube channel. So, like you, I come sign in, and YouTube recommends me to go watch these various videos according to, I guess, the topics that I've been watching on YouTube. Now, I'm not going to get into Ken here, but very quickly, I mentioned before here how the YouTube New World Order agents all appear on mainstream media as well as RT News. So Ken's been associated with RT News. I'm not going to even deal with him. Mike Maloney, same thing. If you've been watching my videos at the Silver Gold Man, I've made several already, or I should say a couple already, just connecting the dots, Mike Maloney, to some of the people within the silver community, right down to Stella Concepts, one of the biggest silver shills on YouTube with a long track record of lying and giving false buying signals, which is the big thing I've been saying, is that how can you have someone who's actually selling gold and silver coins and bullion on YouTube telling you, when's a good time to buy? And I made a point. I said the only time Mike Maloney ever made a video coming right out telling folks to buy, he got it wrong. So my other big thing is the fact that he's an electrician. And I've been saying a long time, here he is talking about the hidden secrets of money. Well, what about the hidden secrets of electricity? As myself, I'm sure Mike must have learned the basics about electronics and electricity, Ohm's law, so on and so forth. At one point, he learned about rewiring electrical engines with copper wires. Isn't that funny? It falls right into his gold and silver and copper. And he's selling copper rounds right now, not coins, copper rounds, at 400% above the spot price of copper. Anyways, I'm digressing here. Let's go back to copper, since Mike knows about copper and he's a electrician, or was an electrician. So he learned about the basics, and at one point he learned about rewiring electrical engines and how they take copper wires. So you got to calculate. There's a whole bunch of calculations, and I'm not going to get into that, but basically he must have learned many of the same laws in electricity on calculating what kind of wiring you need to do different types of jobs. Even if you're just going to be stringing wires up from one city to another or across your city, there's calculations that come into that, and I'm not going to get into that because it's kind of too specific. However, the secret of electricity, or I should say electrical engines, comes from a concept, or I should say something in the electrical industry called an electromagnetic field. Now, don't forget this term. It's extremely important, because when I was taking my electrical course back in my teens, I said to the teacher, when we were learning this 2-week program on rewiring electrical engine, I said, hey, why don't we get rid of all these copper wires here and just take regular earth magnets and put them in a certain configuration, which won't be too hard, and we can create the exact same electromagnetic field, except this time it'll be a magnetic field without the electro part of it. And my teacher was like, whoa, he was blown away, because that's one of the big things here that he'd been pushing, is that he makes more money rewiring electrical engines in his garage at night than he does as a school teacher. And we're talking about the 1970s and 80s here, when you, as a teacher, making $32.50 an hour was big cash here in Canada. So he said, no, I actually make more part-time in the evening rewiring electrical engines. So he said, pay attention to this whole next 2 weeks here on rewiring electrical engines. So of course we're all very attentive, and that's when I said to the teacher, I said, wow, we don't need all this garbage to make a magnetic field. We can use regular earth magnets. So I've said before in Mike Maloney's videos comments, hey Mike, you want to impress me on your knowledge? Why don't you tell the folks here, why don't you make a great big video? Because he has, as you can see here, 104,000 subscribers. So he's like the Alex Jones here on YouTube. And this is very important you pay attention to this, because this is all relating to them making money, fear-mongering, scaring the bejesus out of you, but won't really engage in real truthers. None of our comments. They avoid us like the plague. So Mike didn't respond to any of my comments, and I don't expect him anytime soon to make a video on the concepts that I just spoke to you about. Okay, he'll drive around with a Tesla vehicle, which is a car that runs on electricity, but he won't make a video talking about electromagnetics, or the fact that we have a concept called electromagnetic field that we can do with the same thing with a magnet, the exact same thing. So basically, again, I'm digressing. I'm sorry about this, but this is where it gets good. Mr. BPEarthWatch, and you're saying, what do they have to do? Well, I've been following Mike Maloney here for a long time, because I'm into the gold and silver. I'm the guy here who predicted the exact date of the 2008 stock market crash 6 months before it happened. I didn't do it because I'm a charts guy. I'm not a financial analyst. I'm a friggin' high school dropout. I did it because I'm a passionate researcher. So this ties into gold and silver, because I happen to be, bullish long term on gold and silver. I believe people are waking up to the fiat currency. It's nothing but garbage. And every fiat currency, which there's been over 3,685 of them so far in our history, have always collapsed to zero. Paper is worth nothing, zero. Just because I put a 50 or a 20 or 100 or 1,000 on it, that doesn't give that paper more power. Gold and silver have been real money since the beginning of time. Anyways, I'm digressing again. Sorry about that. But I just really want to fill in the blanks here for anyone who's new to this whole story, so you understand that I'm not talking out through my ass here. I've been out on YouTube for a long time, okay, since 2009. I used to put videos up every single day since 2009 to roughly 2011 here. In June 2011, I did the Fukushima tour back and forth across Canada with my 2 Geiger counters to prove that radioactive particles were dropping in our jet stream, were falling across Canada. Did I find it? Well, if you watch my videos back then and they're connecting dots 1, you know darn right I found it. And one of the same places I found it was in Edmonton, and so did the Geiger counter in Edmonton, okay? The one that's run by our government. The difference was the government's Geiger counters are set at one place. I was traveling around looking for the storms. So they have limited, you got to hope that the radiation rains exactly in that one spot where that Geiger counter is located, whereas I was actually like a storm chaser basically that summer of 2011 till I ran into the dry season in Ontario. Anyways, long story short, again, I'm digressing, but it's just to fill you in, to let you know that I'm not a nobody here. I didn't just fall on YouTube last week. I have a long history. Like I said, the 2008 stock market crash, I made a video in 2010, June 2010, telling folks, get out there, buy your silver. She's about to take off. And it was $22 an ounce. So while we had other people on YouTube selling books here telling you to jump out of your silver at 21, I was the only one telling you, get in there. She's going to take off. Did it take off? Yeah, a month and a half later, we were up to 27, and then we went up to 49. So there's people like myself that are real truthers that have a long history. And one of the big things I found, this whole corruption unit on YouTube, which, by the way, is promoted by Google, your New World Order. And I know you're saying, what are you talking about? Well, hang tight. Again, if you want exposure, it's going to take time. I'm limited to only 15 minutes per video, but I can easily prove this, okay? So this time here, I'll prove to you that, like the Corruption Club, they're recommending people who I make videos against, of all things. Isn't that wild, eh? Yeah. I don't know what to say. So in his latest video, Mr. BPEarthWatch, and I'm not going to get into the whole thing. And by the way, if you haven't seen this, yeah, your thumbs up do vanish, okay? This is what's going on YouTube. So they're not only do they make your thumbs up vanish, but they also give themselves lots of thumbs up and extra views. And many of you have caught on to that. So even though he has 28,000, you can see I gave him a thumbs down, and well, he's this video here. You can go watch it, which is one of the things I've mentioned here, that they'll make videos, possibly may mention me, but they'll never give a link so people can follow up and see if what he's saying in the video about me is the truth. So another BPEarthWatch is just like the rest of these corrupt people promoting energy news, connected with Arnie Gunderson. Go watch my videos. I've already done the connection on that one. I'm not sure if you saw it, but it's over here at Connecting Dots too. Just made it a couple of days ago, but essentially, these people are busted, okay? They're liars. Go watch the video. You'll get informed. And BPEarthWatch is the same thing. Busted, lying, scammer. Why? Well, not just because he promotes energy news, but because, like the rest of them, he censors. He blocked me. Why? Because I was talking about gold and silvers in one of his videos where he came out and spoke about gold and silver. This is back in the day when he was under Mr. Comet Watch. Do you folks remember them? These scammers here have a tendency to drop their YouTube channels. Even though they have thousands of subscribers, they have to do an exit because too many of us know them on YouTube for the names and the crimes and the lies they've done. So he switches gear, goes over to BPEarthWatch. It's the same criminal, the same voice. I recognize him. Doesn't fool me. So Mr. BPEarthWatch does like Sin Energy, many others here I mentioned on YouTubers. I'm not going to get into all their names, but yeah, they ban you. Why? Because they can't handle the truth. So back in the day when you could leave comments, I'd left him a good comment there on his video telling him, you don't know about gold and silver. You shouldn't be talking about that. In fact, here's the history of gold and silver, and it's even in your Bible. Oh, well, he didn't like that. Why is that? Because he's a Bible pusher. And when I'm throwing it in his face that his God is telling him that the only real money, or his Jesus, or whatever, is telling him that the only real money is gold and silver, well, he can't have the rest of his people follow him. So in this latest video here, and again, I'll leave a link so you can watch this garbage, it's all about giving false information about what's going on here as far as the coral bleaching. I already made a video on this, but this is back in October 7th here, as you can see. And even in this article here, they already know what's going on here, okay? The warm water, I don't know what to say, but he doesn't want to talk about this stuff. He wants to promote lies. I'm not into the lies. I'm into the truth. Coral bleaching's been happening for a long time, which is one of the sad things here. He pulls out a very limited data between 2009 and 2014 when there's a lot of other data that he could have pulled out to show people that, oh, look at that. It's been heating up at different places, which is the other thing I'll mention here. This coral bleaching's been happening for a long time, way before 2011, and regardless if it's red or here, he goes on to lie. Well, for one thing, he can't even say the word salmon, a type of fish. He calls it salmon. It's salmon, and I live here on the west coast here in BC, and I happen to know that the fishermen have been saying how the fish here, the salmon runs, have been getting better and better. And in fact, if you watch my videos from 2014, summer 2014, I shared with you a bunch of stories here how even people have been scuba diving along the west coast. One specific lady, 17 years at the same location, mentioning how she's never seen so much marine life diversity in her life at that same location. And the same thing with many other fishermen reporting unbelievable amounts of fish being caught here. The salmon runs that normally feed out in the Pacific Ocean coming back loads. Record runs this year again. The third year in a row, fishing getting better and better. He doesn't want to talk about that. He's very limited in his information. He doesn't want to share people the real information and give them insight so they can get educated. It's all about Fukushima scare. So these bleaching seasons here, they've been going on for a long time. They vary from year to year. Again, he's just playing with limited data. This has been going on since 1997. Hit your space bar, read all of this so you can understand what's going on. You need to get educated. I'll leave the links down below in the Show More tab. Okay, here you go all the way back to 2003 here. Warning of coral bleaching in Hawaii. Like I said, he doesn't want to make a video sharing the real data, okay? It's about lying about stuff. So I mentioned before I've got a forum, connectingdots1.com. Why am I having a hard time? I don't know, but here we go, connectingdots1.com, and I hope you get informed here. You need to join up and know what's going on, because these people have an agenda here about lying. They're not going to give you real facts. They want to scare you and not give you the real information about what's going on. When it's right there, clear as day, they can access other graphs rather than just this limited 2009, 2014. And like I said a long time ago, folks, if there's any Fukushima damage in the ocean, then pull out some sampling and run a gamma spectrometer and identify the isotopes. Stop pulling stories that are full of shit that have been happening for decades and relating them all to Fukushima. That's all it is. So BP Earthwatch, like the rest, stay away, folks. I'm telling you right now, he's Energy News. Okay, he's part of that scam club.